Hello, 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 hello out there in social media land. It is another amazing day on this side of the earth. Yeah, it's another amazing day on this side of the earth. And so it's elevation moments, and we're here a little bit later. Because can I just be honest with you? Moments happen all day long. So, with that being said, if you see me not here at a certain time of the day, it might just mean that there's another moment that's getting ready to happen. And that doesn't mean that we're not consistent. It just means that there's sometimes life happens, things change, and some things you just gotta go with. You gotta go with the flow, baby. Let me just tell you. And so I am super excited to be back with you on this, even when Wednesday. And can I tell you that I am super excited about that because it could have been another way. It could have been another way on today. It could have been at a place where you and I may not have experienced some things that we probably need to experience, right? And even when I'm sitting here telling you, and I must apologize for not being here on yesterday, but I had a doctor's appointment that actually rolled over into our time here. And after the doctor's appointment, I had to take some potent medication. And baby, can I just tell you that it put me to another level. But we feel better today. We can move our head. We can move our neck a little bit better on today. So we're excited about that. It means that something is working. So that's the reason why we weren't here yesterday. But I'm super excited about being here on today. Right. If I can't tell you anything else, I'm super excited about being here today, because when you start thinking about all of the places that you could be, and that's used to the Dr. Seuss book, the places that we can go, and I know some of y'all too old, not old enough that you don't know about the real Dr. Seuss stories. But let me just tell you, there was a story about the places that we will go that was written by Dr. Seuss and all of his, some of his folks. So I want you to be aware of that too, that the places we can go, there's places that you and I can travel to in this season that we have never been before. Right? How many of you remember those Star Trek days? Right? Star Trek, the old Star Trek. I ain't talking about the new ones, but I'm talking about the old Star Trek plays, movies, shows. When they said, that they were going some places that they had never been before. Right? There are some places that you have never been before that you're going to experience in 2024. I want you to catch that. There's some places that you have not been that you're going to be able to get there in 2024. I want you to hear me loud and clear. There are some places that you have not been that you will be going in 2024. All you have to do is get prepared for it, right? Preparation is key to when we are moving to our next level. Preparation is key to moving to our next level. And so sometimes that's why we have to be able to understand how important it is that we're in this season of travel. We're in a traveling mindset. And so a lot of times I like to think that people, places and things, have not experienced some things because they haven't got there yet. They haven't traveled to the atmosphere yet. They haven't traveled to where they need to go, because I'm telling you, in 2024, we are going to be going some places that we have not even experienced before, because we kind of sort of thought that it wasn't going to happen. right? Can I be honest with you? Some of the things, the reason why some things haven't happened is because we haven't spoken it correctly into our life. Can I tell you there's some things that I haven't spoken correctly in my life, but I am now learning to do just that. Speak it correctly. Speak it, you got some things you just gotta walk it out. I know people don't, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. Sorry. Oop, oop, oop. But there are some things that you really just have to be able to understand in this season that it's not what you think it is all the time. Some of us have some back in the backside of the river thinking that we need to bring to the forefront in another way. When I think about all of the places that um, I see myself going to, that I know that I'm going to, that I will experience in this season, I'm here to tell you, can I just be really real with you? I am so excited while we're getting ready to go that shoot, I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm excited about where we're getting ready to go, right? I'm excited about you and I and where we're getting ready to go because we haven't seen the best days yet. Right. Even as I was in my doctor's office yesterday, I knew I had not seen the best days of where I'm going to be feeling because it's only yesterday was the 30th day of the first of the new year. And I knew that I was not going to be at that place forever. Right. How many of us can say that I'm not where I was yesterday and I'm going to another place today? See, this is the thing. You got to learn to speak some things positively over your life. A lot of times we don't speak positive over our life, and that's the reason why we're in the places that we are. Does that mean that every day of your life is going to be shiny and bright and, all of that? No, it just means that you got to keep on speaking it until it take place. You got to keep speaking the manifestation until you see it, right? I'm a big believer in understanding. I'm a big believer in talk about manifestation because I've seen it happen so much, especially in these last 10 months of my life. And some of you that really know me from behind the scenes, you know what I'm talking about. But when I tell you these last 10 months of life has really showed me some things. These last 10 months, the last 11 months of my life, I can tell you that speaking things into existence shall come to pass. It will come to pass. It's about what you speak, right? My dear friend, my brother, Ruben's in the house. Hey, bro. Appreciate you being here with me, dear friend. Please make sure you care, share, and like, and invite some people on over because there's some things that I'm getting ready to give out. I'm trying to think of the right word, Ruben. There's some things I'm getting ready to expose. And there's some things I'm getting ready to give out into the atmosphere that I hope that will help each, not only myself, but it's going to help you as well. Because as a personal development coach, as well as an evangelist and some other things that I do, one of the things I can tell you is that when you get into a place of understanding what you speak, it has the place, it has the probability of coming, right? Ooh, come on. Say, Ruben, see, that's why you in the house on the day. See, I can't mess with you. That's the reason why we got to understand how that release is getting ready to happen, right? And so, Ruben, there's some things I was discussing with a colleague earlier. There's some things that God was just downloading as I was preparing for today. There were some things that I was thinking about as I was preparing for today, right? That I was like, wait a minute, I'm excited because, like I said, yesterday I couldn't have done the head move. Yesterday I couldn't have been functioning in a certain way while some things will be released. But see, today I can function pretty well because it's not going to stop my mind. It's not going to stop my mouth, right? My mind, my mouth, my mind, my mouth, So today I'm going to release some things that I'm hoping that will either help you or prepare you, right? And sometimes those things happen in different aspects. Sometimes it happens sporadically and it doesn't happen at the time that you may think that you need to see it. So today I want to talk about today I want to talk about this because I think it's important. I want to talk about flexing your muscles. I want to talk about flexing your muscles, right? I want to talk about what that looks like on a different level, on a personal development level. When we're talking about flexing your muscles, what does that really look like, and how does that actually happen in your atmosphere? And one of those things that we're going to talk about, Elder Carter in the house, all my brothers and sisters. I love it when the men folks. I love it when the men folks show up. I surely do. I surely do. All right, I'm gonna stop playing with y'all. All right, so check this out. I want to talk about flexing your muscles, right? I want to talk about this from a different perspective. I'm not necessarily talking about lifting weights. I got a coach out there that does that for me. All right, Elder Carter, you know you my friend up in here, up in here, up in here. I'm glad you're here. Because yesterday, Elder Carter, I couldn't move my neck, but I can move my neck today. Hello, how you doing? Praise the Lord. But anywho, I want to talk about this because I think it's important that we understand this, right? Flexing our muscle. I'm not talking about physically lifting weights or doing the thing that guys do. Guys do it more than I see women doing it, but women do it as well. But I'm not talking about that aspect. Now, I will tell you that as we move on into building ourselves and personal development and developing who we are and why we are, it is very important that we do take the necessary actions for physical strength and health, right? And one of those things is rest and recovery. That's one thing that I want to stress with everyone. I was talking to one of my colleagues today. It's important that we understand what self-care truly is and how we put that into our plan of action. One of the things that my doctor always is always reminding me of is taking time out of my schedule to rest, because what you may see on social media might not always end up what you might see behind the scenes. And what I mean by that is, I want everybody to get to a point that you understand social media is just that. Social media is a means of advertising. It's a means of getting the word out. It's a means of being able to show people where you are. But keep in mind that some of the things that you don't see on social media maybe is necessary that you don't see, right? Physically, these last couple of weeks, I've been kind of lousy. But what I tell you, what I'm speaking on my life is complete healing, right? And that's a mind thing. That's a mind transformation for me, right? Is to be able to speak those things, right? And I got my preacher brothers out here. They're gonna throw some scriptures out there for me. I know they will. But we got to learn how to speak these things differently, right? And so when we're talking about flexing our muscles in personal development, I will encourage you that rest and recovery is necessary. It's necessary for you to emphasize the importance of allowing your muscles to recover through proper resting. And adequate sleeping and rest days between intense workouts and stuff like that, it's stress management, all contribute to the your muscles being in a certain way, right? And muscles function a certain way. And one of the things that my doctor even spoke to me about yesterday was, are you putting the pillow behind your back when you're sitting at the computer? Are you raising your neck to a certain level? There's things that you have to do, but the resting component of that is most important. The resting component of that is most important. We have to take our time to do what we need to do to rest the body, right? Even on last night after I took the medication, I found myself having to fight with myself to rest. Why? Because I'm so used to moving and doing things until I pass out, if you will, which is why I tell you guys that it's important that 30 minutes before you go to bed, you need to prepare yourself to rest. That means removing everything out of your way. Everything out of your way. Cut off the TV, cut off the radio, cut off everything. Light the candles and get some atmosphere going for you, right? Moving forward, you have to be able to think about this. Tomorrow is the first day of February. I'm going to encourage you to start February the 1st, making sure that you have 30 minutes allotted in your time before you go to bed, right? What you mean, Elder Carter? What ain't good? What I'm trying to tell y'all is you got to take 30 minutes for yourself every night before you go to bed. Cut off the phones, cut off everything. Right. But when I tell you that now I am learning, I'm teaching you as I learn, because I'm a firm believer that I can't encourage you to do something that I'm not doing myself. Right. So I have had to learn how to slow the body down and make the body more aware of where I need to be in the body. right? So this is the thing, taking 30 minutes out before you go to bed every night, before you actually lay your head on that pillow, is going to change the trajectory of it, but you're going to change the trajectory of how you sleep, right? Taking that app, the 30 minutes before you go to sleep is going to be able to help you develop your process of resting, right? And I have a good friend and she was on my show a couple of weeks ago, Coach Donna Kay. She can tell you that there's things about that sleeping component that will make things a little bit more clearer to what you need to do and how you need to develop. The other thing that I want to talk about when we're talking about flexing your muscle, I want to talk about flexing your muscle, is about your mental resilience and discipline, right? Mentally, a lot of times we don't even see how far the body and the mind connects. Can I be honest with you, as a personal development coach? I've had to have some of my clients actually understand how breathing works, right? Breathing in, exhaling out, and all inhale, exhale. There's a process to that, right? But when I tell you, and that's the reason why I can tell you that I slip when it comes to going to bed on time, but I'm doing better. I don't pick up my phone. I don't answer my phone. If you don't have nothing scheduled, I just don't pick up my phone, right? But mentally, let me tell you some things that you need to do as far as setting some realistic goals for yourself, right? Because that's what we need to learn how to do, is set realistic goals. So when you're setting clear and achievable fitness goals, as far as mental goals, it can provide you with a sense of direction, right? The reason why I'm forcing us to think about that 30 minutes is because that puts it into a place that we can be able to build our mental stability a little bit more. The resilience that most of us are experiencing is because we have not set some things into place effectively. These short-term goals that we make, because look, when you're thinking about setting goals, you got to make sure that there's something that you can meet the obligation with the time. You got to make sure that it's something that you can achieve. It's got to be something that you know that's relevant to what God has planted in you to do, and that it's measurable by meaning that you can see the results of it. I'm a big advocate for seeing evidence, right? Don't tell me you're my friend. Let me see the evidence that you're my friend. That's how I look at it. Don't tell me that you saw me, but you didn't see me. Let's have some evidence, right? And the one thing about that mental resilience and discipline is being consistent. As long as we're consistent in what we're doing and we're building and maintaining muscle, requires consistent effort. Building and maintaining muscles, the flexibility in your arms when you're doing all that kind of stuff, that is consistent with what you're doing. It's building and maintaining it, right? So when you're doing personal development, when you're developing who you are, you have to be consistent in it, and you must be able to set some realistic discipline goals to that. It's important that you understand when you are moving to this next level of your life, that you set out some routines that's going to be able to build you up to a certain level. I don't care who it is, from the pulpit to the corner store. If you don't have discipline in what you're doing, you're not going to have success with it, right? Discipline and consistency is necessary for you to see the evidence of, right? So let's talk about that discipline. It needs to be something that you have in a routine every day. A positive relationship building with yourself is that you constantly are repeating things that are going to help you meet your goal. One of the things that we talk about when we're setting goals and being consistent with it is being repetitious with having an affirmation. I'm a firm believer of speaking those things that we know that is positive to us, right? A lot of times we do not speak the things that we need to speak. I'm starting to, if you've noticed on my page, on my business pages, as well as my personal page, I try to give you something to think about every day, but back it up with a scripture. It's important that you understand that when you're completing and you're continuous to talk about affirmations are things that is good, right? Affirmations and repeating things is good. We're supposed to repeat. We should know the Bible, but we should be able to quote some of these scriptures without being prompted to do so. And sometimes that's hard because we have not repeated it so that it becomes a part of us. When I speak the affirmations over my life, one of the things that I say every day is that it's time to be empowered, embraced, and educated, to be elevated and not tolerated. Why is that? Because that's something that I believe in. It's time for us to be be empowered, embraced, and educated. Empowered, embraced, and educated. Empowered, embraced, and educated to be elevated and not tolerated. I speak it consistently because I believe in it. I believe that every person that has a goal in mind have to understand that it's time for you to be empowered with it, embraced with it, educated with it, and keep it moving to that next level. This is not the season or the time that we begin to start falling short of it because we're not being consistent. When we're talking about the body and the mind connection, I've studied this. I have a certification in it. Check this out. When you put the two pieces together, you have a very good, strong physical being. When you're personally developing yourself, you're looking at how your mind reflects what your body reflects what your mind thinks. So that a man thinketh, so is he. If you begin to speak positively to you, the mind begins to start generating those molecules and all those little great things. If you would come to my class, we can tell you more about. But if you start thinking about how all of that groups together and begins to process with you, then you're able to understand how that reflects your body, right? I told you my fault was I'm always going, I'm always moving, I'm always doing things. And then, for my doctor to have to say, did you put the pillow behind your back when you're at the computer? Are you stressing too much? Are you doing too much? See, this is the thing. You got to understand what your level is in order for you to be able to have a plan to get fixed with it. Right? You go to the doctor to get what? Results. You go to the doctor to be able to give you answers to your problem. You go to the doctor because you have an ailment and the doctor can identify what it is and give you a solution. That's the same thing you do with personal development. When you are sitting here, when you are listening to me talk, and I hope that you are gravitating to this, because this is the thing. When you are getting this is information that is free to you right now. Right? But you have to be able to want it. We have to be able to want to build positive relationships. We have to be able to build positive intertwinings with other people. Right? Mm-hmm. I've had to put some things on the back burner because these last couple of weeks I have been overloaded and I had to say, slow it down. And then the body started saying, yeah, that's right. You need to slow down. That's why you have the tendonitis that's picking up in the back. That's why the sciatica is acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because you haven't done the things that you need to do. So I'm taking my own medicine, right? And I'm going to show you, this is how transparent as I am as a coach, right? Now, not everybody's gonna be this transparent, so don't look for it when you're looking. But I try to be transparent, right? The reason why you're moving the way where you're doing is because you have to practice mindfulness. You have to practice meditation. You have to practice stress reduction. You have to practice mental resilience. Overall performances in the gym, it happens because you practiced it, right? When I go into Donna's gym, and I haven't been in a while, but when I go into Donna's gym, it's consistent. We have a routine. She gives her clients a routine when they're in the gym. See, this is the thing. If you don't practice something on a regular basis and you don't have a routine with it, you will get out of it and you will not follow through. Most of the problems that we all have is that we don't follow through with what we need to do. Right? The other thing I want to talk about real quickly is personal growth and confidence. See, this is the thing. You got to know who you are. You got to be able to grow to a certain place, and you got to have confidence in it. That's the reason why I teach confidence class, because I believe that's important. In order to build a positive relationship with yourself, you have to be able to build your confidence. You have to be able to boost it. See, this is the thing. If you knew what was going on behind the scenes with me, you'd be like, well, how are you able to do these things? Because I speak positivity into my life every day. Some days it's easier than others, and some days it's kind of a challenge. But at the end of the day, I am not going to stay in the same place that I was yesterday. I got to move to the next, right? This is the thing. When you're building personal growth, when you're building a positive relationship with yourself, that means you have to do some real hard down self-reflection. You have to be able to look at yourself from a different perspective. Encourage other individuals to reflect on their personal journey. One of the things I do in my classes and in my one-on-ones is that I encourage the students to share, because you don't know what that looks like to somebody else, right? Because when you start talking about your self-awareness and you're identifying your strengths and your weaknesses, that forces you to get into a routine of being able to evaluate yourself. Keep in mind, the 3S process does work. I teach it. I've seen my students that have come back and said that it works. When you go through the 3S process, which is silence, for strategic plan, for to show up. When you go through that process and you continue to do it, you will see your strengths and your weaknesses, and you'll be able to adapt to them and reflect on what are those things that are good for you. A lot of times the reason why we don't reflect on it is because we're afraid of it. Right? Let's stop being afraid, right? And I know we're gonna say we don't have the power, the spirit of fear. I get that, but sometimes we carry the characteristics, even though we may not have the spirit of. And sometimes you got to be careful that those things don't roll over. Right? Consistency is good. I teach this in my class that there are both good habitual habits and there are bad habitual habits. Habits that you form every day is good, such as, for instance, brushing your teeth every day. That's a good habitual habit. You automatically get up, you pull the toothbrush, you get the toothpaste, you squirt it out, either if you roll it from the bottom or you squeeze it from the middle. You still get the flow of it because it is necessary for you, right? When you start understanding how important following a routine for your self-reflections and looking at who you are from the inside out, then you'll understand how important that this can be for you. When I tell you that sometimes you need a confidence boost, physical strength and a well-toned body can positively impact your self-esteem and confidence. But can I be honest with you? The confidence boost for you developing your personal development, your mental, your mind, your spiritual, and all of those things, when you give yourself a boost with that, share stories to yourself. This is the thing. Let me see if I can pull this over here. Hold up. Okay. So this right here, let me see if I can show this to you guys. I want to show you this. This is one of my journals, and I think I've kind of told this before to people. This is my journal. This is one of them. I have like maybe four different journals for different reasons, right? But when I need to boost myself, I start writing. This is one of my journals. I start writing. I start putting things down. I start expressing stuff to myself, right? I start talking about the things that I want to see positively happen in my life, and I start writing them, right? I have several books out there right now. We're getting ready to release another book here in a few weeks, and this is the thing. When you start sharing your positiveness, when you start writing, sometimes you got to share your own story with your own self. I know somebody sitting out there saying that. Doesn't that mean that I'm being superficial? No, I'm gonna tell you, I had an ex-boyfriend, and he's still my good friend to this day. One of the reasons why Benny used to talk to himself, he said, because he's talking to somebody who is just as intelligent as he was, and that's the truth. Have you ever needed to have somebody say something positive to you? Let me tell you, talk to yourself. Say something positive to yourself that will push you to your next level. When I'm feeling like I don't have that in place, I start writing. I start writing positive affirmations. I start writing positive things to myself. I start talking to my own head, because this is the thing. I'm telling you this. I've experienced it. Sometimes you rely on sharing your life with other people who really do not understand you. I don't care if you've been with people for 20, 30 years. There's some people that will still never understand the real you, because nobody can understand you like God can understand you, and like God chose you to understand you, right? So when you start having those moments and you can't think of anything positive, boost your own self up. Put a statement out there. On my computer, there's several times during the week or whatever, I had to put a post on my computer that gives me something positive to look at, right? For a couple of days last month, I was talking strictly to myself about Romans 8:8. You go back and check it out. There was things I needed to put in there. There was things that I kept saying to myself about Jeremiah 21. There was things I kept saying to myself about Proverbs. These were things that I needed to boost me up. What are you using to boost you up? If you know that you're not going to get it from somebody, then you need to translate it into something that you can have as evidence for yourself. When I tell you, perseverance and achievement is a big part of why we are in this place of the day, where we have to understand how flexing our muscles can really work for us, right? And we emphasize the satisfaction that comes from achieving major milestones, right? One of the things that I was teasing my doctor about yesterday when I went into the office, and if anybody knows my struggle with some things, you'll understand it. One of the things that when I walked into the doctor's office and the girl said, "Get up on the scale," I said, "Oh, I'm excited. I want to see if I kept this at least where I was." And she started chuckling. She started laughing. She said, "Miss Victoria," she said, "I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'll wait till you get in the back." And I'm like, "Oh, geez, that didn't sound good, right?" And she says, so we get into the room and she says, "I really just didn't want you screaming so loudly that everybody else out there could hear you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You lost 4 more pounds." I said, "Shut the boy, girl, shut the boy, shut the boy." See, this is the thing. That's a personal achievement for me, right? Because I know, being a type 2 diabetic, and I know I'm healed from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, right? But I have a diagnosis because, see, the woman had an issue with blood, right? That means she had a diagnosis. This little teaching right there. But check this out. When she said, "You've lost some more weight," I said, "Oh my God, really?" She said, "Yeah." And I did. I had to understand that small piece of achievement was amazing, right? But when you give peace to the small things, you have other things that will show up, right? So later in the day, and I'm sharing this with you because I want to help somebody out there, right? They may be going through different things, and you don't see, and you don't think you see anything happening right now. Check this out. I've been trying to get my A1C down since it was at a very high level, because my doctor had threatened to put me in a hospital if it didn't. Right? So how many of y'all know I do not like hospitals? Hello, how you doing? And I know as an evangelist, I'm supposed to go to the hospital and go and all that kind of stuff. I don't do that yet. I'm just being honest. I pray for you at a distance. Okay, I'm sorry. So check this out. When she says, "If you don't get this down, we're gonna have other measurements. We're gonna put you in the hospital." And I said, okay, because when you get to a certain level, I don't know if you're aware of it, but diabetes is one of the major killers of Afro-American people, right? Okay, so check this out. When she told me that she was going to let me go home the last time I was at the doctor's office, she says, "I'm going to let you go home, and I'm going to give you 30 days to work on it." And she says, and within 30 days, I want to see how it works. Because, see, I'm a go-getter, right? I'm a go-getter. I try to do everything I can do to help anybody and everybody, right? But sometimes you got to make sure, right? So for the last 30 days, I've been really trying to do what I wanted to. I've been trying to really stick to a process to get not only the weight down, but the numbers down, right? And I check my numbers regular because I have to. Check this out. She says, I said, "Well, hey, check my levels this morning. It was blah, 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 blah." She says, "I'm not going to talk to you till after I get the results back." And this is what happened. At about 3:58 this morning, I got the results back. And I'm telling this to the glory, right? Because you can't speak everything out in the atmosphere. But I'm telling you, I went from 4.3 to 10.2 in less than 30 days. And that's because I started doing some things differently. One of those things was speaking life into who I am. I started speaking life into who I am and what God has already told me I am, right? See, this is the thing. When you start speaking things into your life, God will give you the evidence of it, right? And this is the thing. Those little mini milestones is an indication to me that God is winking at me, baby. And honey, when God winks at me, it is better than any man winking at me. I just promise. I'm sorry, because this is the thing. When you get to a certain place physically in your life that you feel a certain way and you don't see those milestones being met, then you feel some kind of way, right? When I tell you, just reading that report, and also knowing that, I had lost some weight, was amazing to me. It was absolutely amazing to me to realize that those drops in those numbers means that something good was about to happen, even more for me. Now, what that says also is that is a milestone that I've completed. So now I got to set the bar higher. See, this is the thing. Most of us, when we get to a certain milestone, we don't set it higher. We say, okay, well, we're right here now, and this is where we're going to be. No, baby, that is not how it works. When you meet that milestone, I've met the first goal, right? I met the first goal. Now I'm going to the second goal. And that second goal is higher than the first one I had because I never speak it. I'm not telling you even today what that is. But when I speak it and I saw it, I said, okay, this is cool beans. This really does work. So you got to understand that appreciating yourself is more important than anything else that you can imagine. Can I be honest with you? It's time for you and I to start speaking those things that we really want to be able to see. Stop waiting on anybody else to stamp or give you a stamp of approval. It's time for you to give your own self the stamp of approval and say, yes, I made it. And yes, it's going to happen. All right, guys, it's 4 minutes over my time because I'm sticking to my own level. I hope that you will come back and join us on Friday. We're going to do Fresh Cut Friday. We got a whole lot of things that we're going to be talking about. We got a lot of events that's getting ready to happen. We want you to be a part of it. But I want to tell you, I want to show you who's coming to be with me on this coming Sunday. I have an amazing guest who's going to be joining me on Sunday. I don't want you to miss it. Check it out. Oh, y'all caught me dancing. So I was doing my victory dance. Yes, my guest is going to be the phenomenal Miss Crystal Ball. But he's going to be in the house with us on Sunday. She Bazooka, my friend Crystal Bazooka. That's who I'm going to call her. That's my friend. She knows what I'm picking at her. Check this out. Crystal's going to come to talk to us about her amazing program that she has. It's called Therapy Hour LLC. It is a mental health organization. I want her to come and tell you all about what's going on with her program. I want you to be here on Sunday at 7 o'clock. I got some amazing guests that are coming up that's going to be showing up in the month of February and March. We got some amazing guests that's hitting the runway. I want you to be here on Sunday nights. You're not going to want to miss it. February, we're bringing back Super Sassy Saturday. And my guest for the first episode of Super Sassy Saturday is the one and only my big brother, my little brother. Donnie Got the Beats going to be with us in the month of February. We're going to be bringing back the Super Sassy Saturday. Stay tuned for more information. You don't want to miss it. You want to be here with us because, baby, if you ain't here with us, I don't know what you're talking about. But you need to come and be a part of us because we got some amazing things that's getting ready to happen. And so I want you to be with us. I want you to share with us. Make sure you go ahead and share, care, and like. I can tell you that the next couple of days, if you haven't booked some time with me or if you need to get in touch with me, please do so. You may not see me available online as much as I truly love to be. But if you don't, go ahead and book some time with me. If we have if we got some time, we can kind of squeeze some things in. I got a lot of new endeavors that have come, doors, I'll put it that way, doors that have come open, and I'm gonna jump in on them because it's time for a change. I'm just gonna leave it right there. Yeah. Okay, guys, we'll see you on Friday for Fresh Cut Friday. Don't be late. It's going to start at 12:30. You need to be here for Fresh Cut Friday. In the meantime, sow a seed into our program. Sow a seed into the organization. If you want to be a sponsor, you are more than welcome to be a sponsor of our program because we're getting ready to do something in 2024, baby, that you don't want to miss. And you want to be able to plant a seed as a part of it. Until next time, we'll see you right here. I remain respectfully yours, the one and only Victoria. And that means it's time for us to be empowered, embraced, and educated, to be elevated and not tolerated. And we'll see you real soon.